Good morning. Welcome to our 6 a.m. Pacific Time daily devotional. This is the 23rd of February. And um, we've been practicing for quite a while now. If we start at the beginning of the year, I know some of us started earlier than that. But if we begin at the 1st of January, that's 31 days in January, and now 23 days. That's quite a lot of practice. So I'm curious to know, when did you start joining? How many days has it been? And are you feeling the momentum of taking time out in the morning to calibrate? And I've heard from some people say, well, the morning just doesn't work for me, and that's fine because we leave the broadcasts up all the time, and so you could make this your evening devotional if you wanted to. And I know some of you have been doing this with me since the very beginning, and I appreciate that. I am Edward Fillion from Centers for Spiritual Living, and we are broadcasting on the Centers for Spiritual Living Facebook page and also the World Ministry of Prayer page. The description of this broadcast has the link to the World Ministry of Prayer, where you can go for additional prayer support. Also, we broadcast on the Spiritual Leader page, and I'm currently the spiritual leader of our movement, and also on YouTube, the channel for Centers for Spiritual Living. And I mention that in the case you want to let somebody know and they don't use Facebook, they can still join us on YouTube. So there are all kinds of options. And we're using 365, Science with Mind, a year of daily wisdom from our founder, Ernest Holmes. And sometimes I read and I think, oh my goodness, what am I going to say to the people? Because I'm encouraging myself and you to question what we read. And today, I really am going to question what we read. So, let's just dive into it, shall we? A certain future awaits me. A definite future awaits me. And the quote is from Hebrews 10, and this is where I have an issue. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. So it is a reference to the primary teacher of the Christian tradition, Jesus of Nazareth. And the idea is to stay strong in faith because of the testimony of the teacher, which I can understand for somebody in the Christian tradition was a very important aspect of the faith. However, if you're not from the Christian tradition, then this has to be adapted, and particularly for those of us who are metaphysicians, meaning we are, well, let's say we follow the teaching of Centers for Spiritual Living. We may be Christian, we may be Buddhist, we may be that, we may be this. And central to our teaching is the idea that you and I don't need any other intermediary between us and the divine presence. And so our faith need not be based on the testimony of any other being or person or teacher or ascended one. Indeed, we are encouraged to do the work and the inquiry within to prove our relationship to the divine, to prove our spiritual life through how we treat the world, how we act, and how we be. So, if you ever find yourself saying, well, I believe it because Edward said so, for example, then that you're not. We want to step back from that and check it, and check that. I want to encourage myself and you to be our own spiritual testing ground, and to know what we know, not out of blind faith, but through application, proof, testing, trying, and discovery. And there will be great mysteries in that anyway. We will be brought to the point where we cannot explain what we know. I get that. But at least we will have gone into the forest ourselves to discover the truth of being. So this quote from the script of Hebrews, I understand it, and I'm cautious about placing my faith on the testimony of any other person. Oh, I can be encouraged by other people. I get that. I understand that. But I want to have a direct relationship with the divine, and I want that for every being. Now, Dr. Holmes says, we are not enough at home in the universe. We don't feel at home in the universe, he's saying. We're afraid of it, afraid to live. Well, if the time ever comes to you and to me that we can see the divine in everything and in everybody, we will never be lonely and afraid again. Every experience will but more vividly reveal the warmth and color and beauty and responsiveness of the universe in which we live. Its entire nature is given to us. We are on the verge of a vast possibility. The individual, it's you and me, or the nation, with all the nations of the planet, the individual or the nation without a vision must perish until the vision is reborn. Wow. What is our vision going to be in the midst of confusion, doubt, and uncertainty? Well, our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, is inspired by a vision of a healthy, loving world that is governed by our spiritual wisdom, that each person rises to their magnificence from knowing that relationship to the divine. And then from that, we share resources and heart, where forgiveness is the norm, and there's an increase in aesthetics. It's a beautiful vision, and if you want to know more about it, it's on our website, csl.org. It's called The Global Vision. So our vision is either going to fall before the confusion and be destroyed, or it's going to be something transcendent within us, and it's going to rise and look to a certain future, to eternal reality. So the vision, whether it's the vision of our organization or our individual vision, must be bold and, in a way, unreasonable, unreachable, to draw us forward. That's the purpose of the vision. Sometimes people will say, oh, the tagline of your organization's vision is a world that works for everyone. How is that possible? How is that going to happen? And I answer, as if I know. The whole purpose of the vision is to draw us forward on a heart, mind, soul basis to that which we yearn for, that is beyond our current reality, like the visions of Isaiah, like the vision of John Lennon's song, Imagine. Imagine all the people living together in peace. It's how? How? Never mind. Let's keep on going to the why and the feeling tone, and let it be rooted in this idea of shared unity. Now, this is a very important part. There is no individual good. Good belongs to everyone. Good fulfills itself only as it multiplies itself. Therefore, there is no good that belongs to you and to me alone. No final piece to us only as individuals. Now, there it is. So it's not, well, we're doing fine here in this neck of the woods, let everybody take care of themselves, or my community is okay, or my gender, or my race, or my religion, or my nationality, let everybody else take care of themselves. No, that's not consistent with the teachings of oneness. What we imagine and open our hearts to and strive towards through our actions must be for everyone. And so there is the work. Wow, how am I going to do this? The watchword is not exclusion, but inclusion. This is from our founder. The watchword is not exclusion, but inclusion. So if you ever hear somebody of this movement, this faith tradition in a school, saying, I just tend to my own consciousness, you can refer them to this book on the 23rd of February, and this line, the watchword is not exclusion but inclusion, and the more good we release, the more good we experience. There's no individual good. And the good I desire for myself, I must desire for everyone. No individual obsession. Of course, I've got my work to do. Of course. Now, the last paragraph of each of these daily readings is, well, they're like affirmative phrases that can be used inside of an affirmative prayer. And so I'll do that. We'll begin our spiritual mind treatment. That's what we call it. And then I'll read those in the middle of it. And so I invite you now to take a breath with me and to let all be, let everything be still for a moment. And as we breathe together, I invite you to turn within. And that merely means close your eyes or be calm, means whatever you want it to mean. And let these words that I speak be as if they are your own words, and if necessary, adjust them and change them, modify them, even reject them and replace them if you like. There is only one power in and through all things. It is the living Spirit, the Almighty, one self-existent, permanent cause, the divine. This one is in and through all of creation. It is the light that shines through all. It is the love that connects through all. It is the peace that is at the center of everything. It is the creativity that produces creation. It is my life, and it is the life of every person listening to this call and beyond. From the awareness of this mind, this creation within me, I allow my mind to range about the field of possibilities, to imagine a world in which there's collaboration, cooperation, harmony, sharing, peace, understanding, progress, nourishment. And during this time of devotional, allow myself to range in that field of possibility, not touching on the how will this come to pass. I take it upon myself to lift my consciousness to the highest possible vision I can, trusting that consciousness shows the way, does the heavy lifting, and produces the methods. I base my confidence in this prayer and the work of this prayer on my experience with it and the many ways in which the living universe has responded before. And so I yield to the flow of the divine. I yield to the creativity of the one mind, and I trust it to work its way out through the vision that I have taken, and I trust it to cause me to know how to be and to think and to feel. And I love that I have an imagination, and so I use it today, thoughtfully, creatively, playfully, by asking myself, what would it be like if there was love, there were peace? I am part of one tremendous whole. Its nature is divine. It is in this divine nature, this inevitable union, that I consciously walk and talk. I walk and talk with the infinite. I walk and talk with the infinite until it becomes real to me, dynamic to me. And I am thankful for every opportunity to have this divine life be expressed through me. And as I bring this moment of prayer to a close, I am filled with a sense of relief and release and peace and willingness and trust, which is why I use the words, and so it is. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I thank you in advance for sharing this broadcast, um, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a blessed day.